Healthcare system in US is having some flaws. I mean, what's the fun of putting chemicals in the body? I mean, what is one non-negotiable in your personal self-care routine? Okay. Your go-to stress buster after a long clinic day. Glasses that I'm wearing, they must be costing like $250 here. You cannot make everybody happy. And here I'm talking about two people in your life. Both of them are important. And here you have to sacrifice. My only knowledge about medical science is that I watch Good Doctor on Netflix. Hi, I am Kamal Vij and welcome to my podcast Happy, Not Just Rich. Today we are joined by a trailblazer who is rewriting the rules of healthcare. She is a family nurse practitioner and CEO of Impact Family Wellness. Her mission is to bring stress free, affordable, and accessible care to families and employees in Texas. So get ready to learn how a simplified, less complex, and less bureaucratic process in healthcare can bring happiness to the lives. Dear Monica, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
So let's start with your story. I would first like to know what in first place inspired you to become a nurse practitioner and eventually start your own clinic.
That's a great question. So I have been an overachiever and a people pleaser my whole life, and so a lot of ideas of success have been what I think other people think is success. And so growing up, I always wanted to have the best title. So when I was finishing school, like high school, I was going to be a pediatric oncologist because it sounded cool, right? But turns out I could never take care of cancer children. Like never. Never. That is not in my personality. So I went to college as a biomedical engineering pre-med major because once again, it sounds really good. But quickly realized that medical school was not for me. I went to a panel of med students and they told me that they studied for more than 8 hours a day. And I knew that was not me, that I couldn't do that. So I changed my major with the intent that I could still go to medical school if I wanted. And then I got through nursing school and a really great professor came to me my senior year and said, "You should be a nurse practitioner." And I laughed in her face. And I said, first of all, I don't even know what a nurse practitioner is. Second of all, I've been in school for like 16 years now and I'm done. Like, I'm just done. And then she said, "Well, someone will pay for it." And I was like, oh,
Wow.
well, then maybe I should rethink that. So I did. I looked into it and went off to become a nurse practitioner, finished my master's program at the age of 25, and was very fortunate to not have a ton of student loans. And yeah, here I am 17 years later, still a nurse practitioner.
Wow. And you look happy in what you do. That's the most
I am
important
incredibly happy. Healthcare in the US is a struggle. We are dictated by insurance companies and big administrative people who don't actually take care of patients. And therefore, it really restricts what we can do as healthcare providers. And so for the first 10 years of my career, I worked in the insurance-based system, seeing 30 plus patients a day, basically treating them like cattle and spending majority of my time charting for an insurance company instead of actually taking care of people. Our system here in the States is pretty broken. And I was actually going to relocate to another state over to Texas, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I actually got a Facebook ad that told me a primary care physician could make $400,000 a year and be home in time for dinner. And I was like, well, that's clearly a lie. That's not real life. So I looked into it and found this model of healthcare called direct primary care. It's membership-based healthcare, basically. So we don't deal with insurance companies at all, and we just take care directly to the patient. And so I went to my husband and said, I would like to open a practice where I can see less patients, take better care of them, have more control of my time, and make the same amount of money. And he laughed in my face. And he was like, that's not real life. Right? That sounds great, but that's not real. And so I dove in with both feet, wrote a business plan. ChatGPT wasn't a thing back then, so I actually had to write it. And then moved to Texas, started with $20,000 and opened my own clinic, which was never my intent. And my plan was just to have me and my 500 patients. And I was just really giving myself a job. I wasn't starting a business. I was really just giving myself a job that I would love. And I did. And I quickly realized that this is a service that people want and they need. It's just not well known at this point. They just don't know it exists. So it has continued to grow. Now I have 3 clinic locations. I have 7 nurse practitioners that work for me. I actually stepped out of patient care, so I no longer do the patient care side. I'm just the CEO now. And yeah, we take care of about 2,200 patients here in the Central Texas area and just provide
That's
them the
very
healthcare that
impressive.
everybody wants. So yeah, I
Very
am living
impressive.
my best life.
You are really lucky to, I would not say lucky. Lucky would be an understatement. It would be understatement for all the efforts that you have put. I would say your courage has paid off. You showed courage. You took risk. You did not walk the path which normally people would keep on walking. You basically, yeah, you gave yourself a chance to explore, experiment, and after hard work, you are standing proud in front of all of us. Thank you, and you are changing
Yes.
more lives. Actually, some things you already covered. They were part of my questions, but I will again ask them.
Sure.
You already said that the healthcare system in US is having some flaws. So I think it's pretty much everywhere. I'll give you a simple example. These glasses that I'm wearing, they must be costing like $250 here in where I live. But the
Wow.
moment I tell them that I have insurance, they may be costing
Mhm.
400.
Yes,
So
my
if you
friend.
walk in, yeah, if you walk into a shop to buy these frames, they may be costing $400. The moment you say I don't have insurance, I want to pay cash, they may become $200 also.
Yeah.
So this is the same thing everywhere. Okay, my very first question is the problem. Why do many people feel frustrated with today's healthcare system?
So the problem is that it's not run by healthcare providers. It is run by insurance companies. Everything that your healthcare provider does has to be approved by someone who doesn't know how to take care of patients. And that is a problem. We, as healthcare providers, will go to school for 9 to 15 to 20 years to take care of you.
Mm,
Yet then we have to ask someone else for permission to actually do what's right for you. It's like if you go in to get your car fixed and the car mechanic says, well, you need this piece replaced and that piece replaced, but your insurance company says, nope, sorry, we're not covering that. So you just have to have a broken car. You would never deal with that. And so it is very much dictated so much by insurance companies, from the number of things that you can talk to your provider about at an appointment, to how we can bill for things, to what is covered for what, right? I, as a
right.
healthcare provider, can't say to you, hey, I think we should get an insulin test, because your insurance
Mm,
company won't cover it. And then you get into these contracts where the insurance company has a contract. So things are so much more expensive. So it's just so broken on so many levels. And then we get these really big hospital systems that are run by administrators and not
yeah.
by healthcare providers. And so when you walk in the door as an insurance-based patient, you're not the customer. Your insurance
Mm,
company is. And so we end up in this situation where patients don't get the care that they want. And it's not because the healthcare provider doesn't want to. It's that A, they don't have the time, and B, they're stuck by the restrictions of insurance companies. And the reimbursement from insurance companies continues to go down over year in this country. The same patient that I would see in 2000, so 25 years ago, I would have been paid $14 more by Medicare
mm.
than I do now in 25. And costs have done nothing but go up. And so it is just such a broken system on so many levels that the patients, unfortunately, are the ones who suffer.
And okay, now we'll talk about the solution. I think the
Mhm.
solution is DPC. Yeah, I have zero background in medical. My only knowledge about medical science is that I watch Good Doctor on Netflix. Okay. So imagine like
I
that.
like it.
You keep, you need to keep your answers to my level.
Sure.
Okay,
No
simple.
problem. No
Okay,
problem.
my next question is very basic. What is DPC?
Yeah.
Direct primary care.
Direct primary care is a movement of healthcare where we take the care back to a relationship with the patient and the provider. And so it's much like healthcare back in the 40s and the 50s, when you would just
Mm,
go to your doctor and pay him cash. It's the same philosophy. So we have a contract with our patients that we work off of a membership. So it's much like a gym membership or Netflix for your
mm,
doctor. So you pay a monthly fee and then you can come in as many times as you want. But also, I, as the healthcare provider, get to decide how we can take care of you. So in the insurance-based
mm,
system, you have to come in to see your provider in order for the provider to get paid. In our system, that's not true. And so if you
mm,
wake up and have a rash in your eye or a rash on your arm, or you need your medication refilled. In the insurance world, I have to touch you in order to bill your insurance. In my world, I don't. And so you can
Right.
send me a picture of your gross eye because I don't
Mm.
actually want to see it. It grosses me out. I can't do eyeballs. But we can solve that via text message. And so there's a time and a place we have to see patients, but we have to take that struggle out. And also because I, as the provider, am getting paid, regardless of whether you show up or not, I have more availability in my schedule because I'm not just trying to pack it so that I can increase my revenue, but also am incentivized as your provider to keep you healthy. Because the less
Right.
times you call me, the more time I have, and I'm still getting paid the same. Where in the insurance world, we actually are incentivized to keep you unhealthy. And so it's just this very broken system of the world.
Yeah.
But direct primary care is membership-based healthcare that takes all the struggles out of what healthcare is, makes it price transparent, makes it affordable, makes it relationship-based, and it's just a better way of care for patients.
Exactly. You tried to explain this DPC from the other side of the glass. Now imagine I am the patient, or
Mhm.
let's say I'm the head of the family, and I have family members in my family. So if my son or my daughter or my wife is complaining that I have a minor itch in eye, let's say, for example, in a normal system, I would first try to say, let us put some eye drops, let it get fixed by
Mhm.
itself,
Yep.
because everybody's on budget nowadays. No matter you are
Absolutely.
what position you hold, which industry you are in, the current system that we are living in financially, everybody is with a question mark. Nobody knows next year where we'll be, right? So from
Absolutely.
this side of the glass, if I try to see this DPC model, I would say this is peace of mind.
Absolutely.
This is
And
peace of mind.
that's one of the best things we do is I say we get rid of mom guilt. We take care of a lot of moms and their kids. And so, especially as a mom, your kid is not feeling well. Do you call the doctor, hope that you can get an appointment? Who knows how much that's going to cost you? So, when you take all of that out and instead you just send a text message to the person on the other end that you know who it is and you trust them and say, hey, Susie's not feeling well. What should I do? Well, I, as your healthcare provider, I'm going to ask a few questions and determine, like, okay, do I need to see Susie now? Or could we maybe try a couple of things and then let me check in with you tomorrow? And so it's literally like having a healthcare provider in your back pocket that you can actually talk to instead of them being like the Wizard of Oz, where they're just behind a closed door and you can never get to them unless you schedule an appointment in 3 weeks. So yes, it is so much peace of mind, not only from how much time do I have to spend, but also the trust on the other side of it, and especially the dollar sign that goes along with it,
Right.
because there's no extra cost to call us and to come in. And so people will actually get care that way.
It's very similar to a situation where, let's say, if I drive a Toyota, I take my Toyota to the dealership for getting a minor thing fixed. Now, this dealership mechanic is telling me that, okay, I will fix this, but I think you need to get fixed this and this and this also. Now, at this moment, I have to make a decision. Okay. And that decision will not be based on dollar most of the time. It will be based on the trust that this mechanic is telling me 3 problems in my car, addition to the what I already know. Do I really have a problem? Or
Right.
that's the problem. And here, I think in your system, because you are not getting anything extra by bringing them to the clinic, so you would not recommend anything which is not mandatory. It's very good,
Absolutely.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
what's the fun of putting chemicals in the body? I mean, there's no fun in that,
Right.
right?
Absolutely. And that's another issue with our system is that providers don't get kickbacks from pharmaceuticals, but they are able to bill higher for a level of service side if they write prescriptions. And so, unfortunately, we are incentivized as providers to write those prescriptions, even if a patient doesn't need them. And I will tell you, I think the 4 most important things in the world of health are sleep, stress, nutrition, and body movement. And those 4 things are not paid for in the insurance world. And so if those 4 things have never come up with your discussion with your primary care provider, you need a new one, because those things are more important than anything else you're going to talk about. And unfortunately, we just have this very sick care focused healthcare system instead of a healthcare focused system. And that's really what direct primary care does, is turns it the other way around, where we're really focusing on how to keep you healthy and maintain that healthiness as opposed to just waiting for you to get sick.
One of the words used on your mission is accessible healthcare. What does accessible? You already said that doctor is almost reachable by phone, reachable by WhatsApp. You can send a photo. So you have this relationship with the doctor. So that makes it accessible healthcare.
Absolutely.
One more term which caught my eye was on your LinkedIn profile. It was called fewer hoops, more health.
Say that one more time.
Fewer hoops.
More health.
Yeah.
Yes.
This was a new word for me, by the way. I'm not a native English speaker. So I thought of asking you, what did you mean by that? It's on your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah. So it's kind of a slang term where we talk about how you have to jump through all these hoops to get to the next step, right? And we see this all the time with patients. So just this week, my husband had surgery and developed a complication from the surgery. He got a blood clot in his leg. Thankfully, I am his wife. And so I know how to treat it. I know how to fix it. But in the regular world, if he did not know me, the number of phone calls he would have had to make, the number of places he would have had to go, the amount of time he would have had to spend to try to get the attention that he needed would have been astronomical. I mean, my mind is blown. Even I called the surgeon myself and he was like, we don't handle that. He would have to go see a hematologist. Do you know how long it will take to see a hematologist in this country? At least 6 to 8 weeks. It's like, we can't wait that, like, his leg will fall off by that time. And so,
and clot, you never know which part of.
Yeah. So what we mean is that instead of having to jump through the hoop to go from your primary care provider to the hematologist, you can just go to your PCP and we can handle it for you. And if we need that specialist, we can reach out to them directly and they'll actually respond to us. So we just try to make healthcare simple. It shouldn't be this hard. It doesn't need to be this hard.
I don't know if you're familiar with the term red tapeism. In my country, we use for the same thing, we use red tapeism. What used to happen in the old days, that there used to be files like binders. So this file has to move to the next officer for sign. And normally they used to tie this with a red tape. So when we are talking about bureaucratic process, unnecessary paperwork, in India, we call it red tapeism. Red tapeism. Something similar.
We need to adopt that. Yeah, absolutely. No, it is. It's why do we have to make this so hard? It should not be this hard to take care of yourself.
Now I can see that you are working with a purpose. It's very clear. And I can see it in your eyes. I can see it in your body language. I can see it in your voice that you are living your life with a purpose. That's the best part. That's really, everybody should have that. So in your own views, what is the best part of the work that you like?
It's providing exceptional patient care, like seeing our patients feel better, live better, have better lives because of the service that we provide them. It's what fills my cup every day. We have helped not only our patients, but our community. We do a lot of talks in the community. We do a lot of work with nonprofits to make sure that people have the resources that they need. And ultimately, it's just letting people know that healthcare should be easy, that we can take care of people. It's just such a better way. Not only, it's funny, people will thank me for opening my practice. And then I realized that it was actually very selfish of me. Like, I was doing this so that I could do what I loved. I went to school for 9 years to take care of people, not do paperwork all day long. And that's what I was doing. And so I did it really selfishly so that I could do what I loved. And it's just turned into this even bigger passion to help more patients and more providers understand what real healthcare is.
And I think you are not only helping patients, you're helping other upcoming people who want to become the next Monica. I think that's my next question. DPC launch kit.
Yeah, not ever my plan to write a book or an e-course, but it happened. So I realized that after I opened my third clinic, how exhausting it can be to run more and more clinics. And so my initial plan was to continue opening more and more clinics, but I realized that every clinic took more of my time and I wasn't willing to give that up. And so I had to figure out how I could continue to make an impact in the world without losing my sanity. And so instead of building more clinics, I decided to take the other route and train other people to do what I do. Some mentioned the franchise. side of it. And I was like, absolutely not. I do not want to be responsible for someone else's success. I will train them how to. And so I wrote a book that is not a how-to book. It's a should you. So are you the right type of person to open a practice like this? Because it takes a certain person to be an entrepreneur. And it's
Exactly.
okay if
Yes.
you want to be an employed provider. Completely fine. And so the book really is the like, should you? Are you the right person for this? And then at the end of the book, you should be able to say, yes, this is me. And if that's the answer, then I made an online course that is 8 modules, and it starts you from, yes, I want to do this, to launch day. And so it just helps you walk through it so you don't have to make all the lovely mistakes that I made along the way. And yeah, so it's just my way of making a bigger impact in the world.
Great. When you were talking, just reminded me of one person. She's also
Yeah.
nurse practitioner and she's also in Texas. I think she's in Houston. She was one
Yeah.
of my guests on episode fourth or fifth. Her name is May Dungo, and really, you and she should talk to each other.
Well, I'm here for
She's
it. I will take that
amazing.
intro, my friend.
Yeah, amazing lady. Really, very, very positive, full of energy, full of life. And I will try to
Yeah.
connect both of you. That was my sixth or seventh episode. This question is about entrepreneurship. You already talked a little bit about it. Let's talk about some of the hardships that you faced. And with this DPC launch kit and with your modules, you are basically trying to simplify for the new people who are going to replicate. But what you faced as the first person who started doing it from scratch?
Yeah, a lot, to be honest. I have 3
Mhm.
degrees in nursing, not one in marketing, accounting, business, none of it. And so it's really just strapping on your boots and figuring it out. And so you have to be the type of person who isn't going to get frustrated by the things you don't know, but
Mm.
more a light on fire type of person that's like, you know what,
Yeah.
I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to figure it out. And so I really think that was one of the best things I learned was you just got to figure it out. Everything is figure outable. I just made that
Yeah.
word up, I think. Or I think there's actually a book called Everything is Figure Outable. And so either figuring out how you can do it yourself or asking for help. It was really
Mm.
hard for me to ask for help and to delegate things. Those were very
Mm.
difficult for me. But I will tell you, my biggest struggle has been marketing. And it's really because direct primary care is not a normal thing that everybody knows about. So nobody types
Right.
direct primary care into Google. And so my job is so much education on what does
Mm.
this mean? How does it work? What are the benefits? Why would this work for me? And so I've learned a lot of marketing lessons. Those are
But
probably
I'll
the
tell you,
main things.
Monica, one thing which should give you some more positive energy and some more, let's say, make the marketing easy for you. I think now already you are pro. You don't need this, but just I will tell what Steve Jobs said. Like Steve Jobs said that most of the companies they start with their tech. They start
Mhm.
talking about so many gigahertz and so many megabyte and so many this and so many that, and then they come out with some box which does some purpose, which solves some purpose, but in his way it should be a other way around. So here is a printer. He was basically talking about a printer, and he was holding a piece of paper. He said, this is a printer and it prints this paper. Now when he looked at this paper, he said that I can sell it, people will buy it. So in your case, that this DPC is directly touching families, directly touching health. So this should, the moment people hear about it, they would not have much resistance. They will be like, tell me more, and tell me how to
Absolutely.
move to the next step. I don't, because yes, maybe the first contact may be difficult, but I think if you touch 100 people, 90 or 95 will be interested. This is my feeling without knowing anything about your business.
Yeah.
This is my feeling.
No, absolutely. And it's just touching those people and getting the
Hmm.
chance to explain to them. And so part of a struggle that I've found is that there's so many different aspects of direct primary care that appeal to people that figuring
Hmm.
out what each person's pain point is and how we fix that
Hmm.
has been a great joy, but also a struggle. Because some people
Hmm.
love us because they can get a same day appointment. Some people love us because we're affordable. Some people love us because we're price transparent. And so figuring that out for each person
Hmm.
individually and then customizing our pitch for them has been one of the biggest things, right? Like a printer, what it does, it prints paper.
It-
What does direct primary care do? Well, it gets rid of mom guilt. It makes you healthier. It gets rid of your time issues. It decreases your stress. Like there's so many things that it does that it's hard to just focus on one thing because then we miss people. And so it's just so many different avenues, which is great, right? Because then I
Which
have
is
so many
great.
different ways to
I
talk
think little
about
bit
it.
challenge is good. Yeah. Other if it's little bit challenge is there, it keeps you going. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'll touch one complicated topic about medication for weight loss.
Ah, I
What
can
are
talk
your
about this for a
views?
long.
Okay. I read something about this on your website. There are modules. So, what are the biggest myths and misconception about weight loss medication? Because when you tell somebody about this one, people start getting all different kinds of
Oh
views.
yes.
So, what are the myths?
Everyone has their opinion about weight loss meds, and I am
Right.
here to tell you mine, and that is that it is the safest, best, most amazing medication I have seen in my 17 years of practice. So,
Okay.
a big myth is that they're new. These drugs have been around for 17 years. The first one
Mm.
was released before I started practicing, but they were all for diabetes back then. And so they've come a long way on them. They used to have to take them twice a day. Now it's once a week. But the way that they work is by producing something that's already in your body. You just don't have
Mm.
enough of it. And so from a safety standpoint, it's incredible because it's not even something that is foreign to your body, right? Tylenol is foreign to your body does
Mm.
not produce Tylenol. Your body produces GLP-1s. And so it's just giving you more of it. Can there be side effects? Absolutely. Most of the time, it's a dosing problem. I will tell you, we've run into big issues with these medications because people are going unqualified people to
Mm.
write them for them, right? So you
Okay.
can go on Facebook and find some online place that you have to fill out a questionnaire and they will send you that drug. Well, I'm here to tell you it should be more than that. We should have baseline lab work. We should have long talks about what your hopes and dreams are because they really do work, right? The way they work is phenomenal, but you have to make sure that you're still eating and you also have to make sure that you're lifting weights because
Mm.
the amount of muscle wasting that can happen with these drugs if you don't do it appropriately, if you aren't eating enough protein and doing some form of muscle building, you will waste away to nothing. But you're going to lose your muscle mass, which is not good for anybody. And so I think they're amazing. Someone that you can talk to, if they're just sending it to you and not following up for 3 months, you're in the wrong place. It's not going to go well for you. These doses can go all over the place. If you're having side effects, it's not just something you should suck up and deal with. There are ways to deal with it from a dosing standpoint. And so I think they're amazing. I've seen amazing transformations in people that are so much healthier. But yeah, there's the bad eggs out there. And so avoid the bad ones, go to somebody reputable, and I think that you'll do just fine.
Actually, the results, nobody has any doubt about them because in every office, you will find at least 10 or 15 examples worth talking about. They're the talk of the town. The transformation is amazing and it's so drastic that people really talk about them. Did you see her? Did you see him? What happened to him? What happened to her? And then the other person will start putting his knowledge and like that. So about results, no problem. And thanks for bursting the myths and putting out that word of caution, which is very important. Great.
Yeah, it's funny. There's some people that call it cheating, right? Like it's just cheating. It's like, no, it's not. Like obesity is not a character flaw. It is an actual healthcare problem. And so people who have never struggled with obesity don't get it, right? It's not a calories in, calories out problem. Find me one person who's overweight that loves it, and you might convince me that it's a character flaw because it's not. And
Yes,
so
yes,
we
yes.
have to get over this stigma that being overweight is a choice. Because I'm here to tell you, it's not. I've struggled with my weight my entire life. I've been on and off these drugs for literally 15 years, and they make a world of difference. And so I would just advise people, don't judge people for trying to fix themselves. If somebody had high blood pressure and took a medicine for it, you wouldn't judge them. And so why are we judging people for taking a medication for a medical problem? It's the same, it's that whole mental health stigma that we're still getting over as well. These are actual medical problems that need help. And I'm here to tell you, semaglutide, tirzepatide, they are phenomenal drugs when used appropriately.
Yes. Thank you very much. That's exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now I'll ask some questions related to the work-life balance. So, how do you balance being a clinician, CEO, mentor? You do all these things. I'm sure you have a personal life also. I have seen on Facebook that you're not a person in the box, working late night when everybody's out. You are still on. No, you are having a life as well. So, how do you manage all this without burnout? Give us the mantra because this goes directly with the theme of my podcast: happy, not just rich.
Absolutely. So I mentioned that I did this change plot twist, right? When instead of opening clinics, I wrote a book. And that came because I literally was overwhelmed and like on the verge of burnout. And I was burnt out before I started my practice, but then I was chasing someone else's idea and definition of success. So first of all, I have a very clear line on what success means to me. And success means to me spending evenings with my family. I have a 10-year-old. I am not going to just build a business and not know him. So I don't work after 5 p.m. It's a like solid line. And I set very clear boundaries. I mentioned earlier, I am not good after 3:30. So why would I do that? Why would I function when I'm not doing my best? Right. But I will tell you the number one thing I had to do was A, define success, and B, set very clear boundaries and stick to them. Because if you don't, people will walk all over you.
Exactly. In my opinion, you knew what is sufficient. Once you reached that, you started calling yourself, without giving a label, successful. Because what is successful? 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. There is, after 4 also there is a count. After 5 also there is a count. But somebody who wants to be happy, he has to put a number which says that, okay, if I reach this number, I would call myself sufficient, abundant, happy. That is very important.
Yeah. I also think it's important to make sure that you celebrate those successes. I think so much we're like, let me get to this milestone, then this milestone. But you also have to enjoy the journey along the way. Because if you're just always going to that next goal, you're never going to feel fulfilled. I mean, traveling is my love language, and I am not willing to give that up. And so it's incredibly important to me. And so I make it a priority. So you've got to really prioritize what your life should look like. And I'm going to tell you that should not be a number. If you're chasing a number, that number's just going to keep changing. So find something else that defines success other than a revenue number, a salary number, a whatever that number is. Sure, you can have those goals, but that should not define your worth or your success.
Right. In one of the religious lessons of my religion, once I was listening to some this preaching of my religion, and the guru was saying that it's like a fire, and fire will never say that I have had enough wood.
Right.
The more wood you put, fire will keep on taking. Right? It's the same thing.
Sure.
It's the same story
Our
here.
society just always, everything needs to get bigger and stronger and faster and all the things. And that's not necessarily true. And so you don't have to live by that.
Okay. Now, one advice which people can take away from this podcast, some actionable advice. So what advice you'll give to the people who want to take back control of their health and stress less about the system? They want to take...
I mean, make sure that you are being an advocate for yourself. If something isn't right and someone tells you, you're fine, your lab work's fine, you have to listen to your gut and you have to be your own advocate. Do not just settle for what somebody says. You can shop around for your own healthcare provider. You deserve that. Just like you shop around for what car you buy, you should also shop around for who is telling you how to take care of yourself. And that does not have to be dictated by an insurance company or anyone else. So find a healthcare provider that you click with, that you trust, and that has your best interest in their mind. And that sounds like a big, giant feat, but it is possible. Don't settle for less than anything else, right? Imagine if it was your child. You would not let your child go to a crappy person, right? So don't do that for yourself.
So now I have some questions which are one-liner kind of question. I just added them as a rapid fire just to add some spice and some fun to the interview.
Sounds great.
They are very easy, by the way. Don't worry. Yeah, nothing tough. And you are a strong lady, by the way. You should not be afraid of
I think
anything.
I can take it.
You can take
I'm not afraid.
Okay. Direct primary care, DPC, in one sentence.
Affordable, accessible, relationship-based healthcare.
Excellent. Your go-to stress buster after a long clinic day.
Booking travel or researching travel.
Stethoscope or laptop? Which do you use more nowadays?
Now that I don't do patient care, a laptop.
What is one non-negotiable in your personal self-care routine?
Sleeping. I go to bed when I'm ready and when I'm tired, typically by 9:30 every day.
Okay. Your favorite motivational quote or mantra or anything which you'd like to share?
Someone else's opinion of you is none of your business.
Okay, please say it again. I want to hear it.
Sure. Someone else's opinion of you is none of your business.
Good one.
Shout out to Rachel Hollis. That's where I got it from.
Okay, I tried to research about you, try to put some questions, but maybe if there is any important message which I did not ask and you would like to communicate through this channel, you can please tell. Because it's possible, because I had a very short time to research about you.
Sure.
And your life book is very vast. So if there's anything you want to say, communicate through this channel, you can tell.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things I've learned about myself is that I shouldn't be focusing my life off of what I think other people think. There was a long time where if I wasn't working by 7 a.m., maybe my employees will think I'm not working hard enough. Or maybe I shouldn't go on this trip because my employees will think that I'm not working hard enough. Well, guess what? My employees appreciate the fact that they have a job that they love and a boss that they know cares about them. And so I no longer count like, oh, I worked for 9 hours today, so that's enough. No. Did I get my to-do list done? Cool. If I did that in 4 hours, then I'm done.
Yes,
and so I really had to stop comparing myself to everyone else and trying to make sure that everyone else was happy, because guess what? That's not going to happen. So I really have to focus on my life, my dreams, what fills my cup. And if it doesn't, then I got to go the other way. I also heard a really great quote once that was, if it's not a hell yes, then it's a hell no. And so if somebody wants you to do something, takes your time, takes your energy, whatever that is, and you aren't super excited about it, then the answer is no. And
it's okay to say no. Yes. I'll share something about myself. Okay. I also learned the same thing. Earlier, I used to be a technical trainer. I used to be like a teacher for the corporate employees. One of the telecom company I used to work, and I used to go to the offices like T-Mobile, all of these companies. I used to go and give trainings in Chicago, in Europe, in Australia, in all around the world. And once I was on a short plane, this 30-seater plane in US from place A to place B. I don't remember which place. And I was like kind of sad. And the person sitting next to me said, what happened? And we started talking. And I'm a talkative person. So then this guy said that if you can take your son fishing, you cannot take your wife shopping. You cannot make everybody happy. And here I'm talking about two people in your life. Both of them are important. And here you have to sacrifice that either I will take my son fishing or I'll take my wife shopping. But I cannot have both. So here you're talking about the people who are in your training, and maybe some of them may not be happy because you cannot make everybody happy. That is very much true. I go by that rule. And that courage to say no that you're saying, that comes with some confidence. After you reach let's say you prove yourself in your profession, step 1, step 2, step 3. Once you have proven that, yes, I am good at what I do, then this power of saying no comes, right? So that also is an important lesson for the people who are very junior, who want to gain this power of no, saying no. They cannot do it in the first 2-3 years of their life. They have to first prove themselves, right? Because otherwise, no would mean they're running away from work, they're lazy, they're incompetent, something like that. So once you reach a certain stage, you have proven yourself, then you can say, yes, I will not do this. This is beyond my boundary, this is beyond my ethics or whatever. Okay. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Really, thank you very much, Monica, for spending time with us and educating us. And for me, who only knows Good Doctor from Netflix, learned a lot about. By the way, I love that show.
Yeah, it is a good show. I will agree.
So, thank you. I'll post your social media information,
Sure.
your website, everything about you in the description of this video, and stay in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.